according to what I received from Thoth Intelligence, the soul of Osiris shared the body of Jesus, Yeshua, with what Thoth calls the pure soul until the time of the baptism, at which time Osiris left the body and the archangelic host of the Christos entered the body to share it with the pure soul. So that is the dynamic that played out to allow Yeshua to become stabilized, or the pure soul who had never been incarnated before, to become stabilized on the planet. And the Osiris soul, a very high illuminated soul, was able to hold that frequency with the pure soul and guide it to the point of the baptism. Now, at the point of the baptism, that is when the pure soul was ready for its job, you might say, and to be united with the Christic ray of the archangel. Then at the time of the crucifixion, the Osiris soul came back into the body with the pure soul to give it the balance it needed to be able to move through that challenge and that divine experience. As an original embodiment on this planet, the soul we are calling Osiris arrived here via star Merkaba, along with the company, which included Isis and others. Not Thoth, he came on his own terms as Thoth in another Merkaba at another time. That's another story. But many of them arrived then at Mount Sinai. The company which arrived at Mount Sinai at that time, inclusive of Osiris, Isis, and others, and later Thoth, when he came to the earth as Thoth were all from the blue star Rigel in Orion. Now that doesn't mean that other beings, illumined beings who came to this world and were part of many incredible experiences on this planet, were all from the blue star Rigel, but they were all kindred when we're speaking of these star kindred. But this particular group came from Rigel. However, inside Rigel, because all higher worlds have their worlds, their planets inside their suns, there's a lot of planets. I don't remember the exact number. Thoth gave it to me. It's written down somewhere. But I want to stress that they're different worlds, okay? And so they did not all come from the same world. Of these star beings that we know archetypally, that is, we know the names Isis, Osiris, Nephilis, names like that, he's the only one who came from one particular planet. He had beings that came with him, but they were not illumined ones. Let's put it in those terms. It's difficult to explain. So he had a uniqueness in that way. And the beings that came from his planet were largely iridescent blue-black in color. I mention this because they were so beautiful, and I have not been able to duplicate it. I can't duplicate it in my second life avatars, and I so far have not been able to duplicate it in Midjourney. So the beings you see representing Osiris and his double that you'll hear about in a minute do not, represent entirely the skin color or, of course, the actual appearance, because it's just not possible. But I've come as close as I could. I want to give an essence of the kind of energy that this being had and that the archetype has. I now primarily wish to address the archetype. And when I speak of an archetype here, not a sterile image that we look at and think of mythically or symbolically, although there is symbology and mythos involved. But it's what Thoth calls a living archetype. It is an energy, a presence, a frequency. I'm going to read to you now from some transmissions I received in the 1990s from Thoth Intelligence. The opening of the universal vault is contained within the 9 energy bodies. As above, so below. Osiris is both the vault in the heavens and the body that reflects the vault in the human passage. The body vault is the Merkaba, or ship of stars. As such, it can be subjected to the corporeal, but it is always resurrecting to the age that will sustain its sacred journey of awakening. Osiris is an archetype of divinity, descending into the lower realms for the purpose of taking on the karma of that realm, for the sake of the world's soul, and therefore suffering a wound for humanity. He cannot be healed of the wound until a future age discovers his body, the causal, and immerses it into the Christic solvent or water, the logos made receptive. The wound is healed by disseminating his spiritual essence into all humanity, cleansed of the original karma it absorbed from the world's soul. Until the body is discovered or known, it remains dead to the world, contained in the vault of heaven, or a limited aspect of beingness between realities, i.e. the womb of the goddess. The Ren, word, logos, seed, is the space or amplitude of potential within the empty sarcophagus. It is a measure awaiting structure. It therefore is the quickening that must precede the awakening or healing of Osiris. It is the harmonic, or in the dream, the chanting, singing. The chamber of the seed and its attendant functions is a reflection, a living dynamic superimposition of the divine mergence between the ensouled realm of earth and its complete state of being. We speak to you now of Osiris REM nebkit. This is an aboet, an energy vessel created by Osiris and the priests and priestesses of Khephu-Ra in the days of Aegyptos before the deluge. In the temple of Khephu-Ra, so the priests and priestesses entered the halls of Amenti and beseeched the Lord Immortals to create with them an aboet, which would serve to initiate Sunborn through the ages long after their time as guardians of the solar threshold had passed. Thus was Osiris REM nebkit created through the portal of the great Osiris and into the vault of Osiris in the temple of the Risen One. He is the Black Lord. In the center of Osiris REM nebkit's chest is a diamond-shaped crystal appearing likened unto a star of blue fire. This is the Kether-Ath, the binding stone, that which is the master control for the Osiris grid between the Earth and Orion, encompassing Earth as a member of Orion, enabling it to cross the solar threshold during LP40, or Light Principle 40, and return to its true star sun. Osiris contains the master program for the bonding of the greater star fields to the lesser through the threshold of Orion. As his projection is brought through a series of stellar apexes, so it creates the Vesica, the eye of his son of suns, Horus. In this central whorl, which is the eye of his sun, so realms are created from the core and the Alm. These realms include not only star systems and biophysical forms, but realms within the heart and soul, given as solar emblems of light formation, overlaid upon the zodiacal charting of the Adam Kedmon memory, within the current human form. I plan to do a video on the Adam Kadmon, and I've mentioned it many times before, so just briefly, it is the blueprint for humanity and its star kindred.